Several global regions exhibit a distinct demographic imbalance between genders, with the number of women considerably surpassing that of men. In these locations, there is often competition for male attention due to their lower presence. Statistical data reveals that, most of the time, there is a notable balance in the birth ratio between boys and girls, with an exception during times of armed conflicts when the male population experiences significant losses. Currently, the world population is estimated at approximately 3.97 billion men and 3.90 billion women. However, in certain nations and cities, this demographic configuration appears quite different. In this exploration, we will outline the areas where the female segment significantly exceeds male presence. If this topic piques your interest, we invite you to join us until the end of this presentation. As reported by travelers who have ventured into these territories, we are accustomed to a fairly balanced gender distribution, where the presence of men and women hovers around the 50% mark on each side. However, even a small fluctuation, such as an increase of only 7% in the female population, can significantly transform the everyday atmosphere. It's almost like entering a domain where the feminine predominates, an experience that proves to be quite striking. Let's take Latvia as an illustrative scenario, a modest country located in Eastern Europe, whose capital, Riga, is home to around 700,000 souls, of which 400,000 are women. In this tranquil and well-preserved corner, the male population makes up only 43% of the total population. Not far away, in Lithuania, we discover Vilnius, the charming Lithuanian capital. Both nations belong to a group where the characteristics of the environment and residents reveal their geography. Predominantly, these are lands of fair-haired, light-eyed individuals adorned with ancient buildings, imposing castles, and architecture that exudes classical beauty, with a more prominent female presence as the backdrop. Unlike what we typically witness, about 58% of the inhabitants are women in Lithuania. However, this country does not rank among the most sought-after places for residential settlement. Currently, the trend is for more people to leave the nation than enter it, a phenomenon that may soon trigger a serious internal issue, opening doors for facilitated immigration for foreigners like us in this territory. Shifting our focus to the east, in the city of Hong Kong, China, women make up 60% of the population, while men account for 40% of it, creating a demographic distinction that is quite evident on the streets. The local atmosphere is welcoming to outsiders, as the area attracts a constant flow of new faces. The language barrier does not pose a problem, as it's easy to establish new friendships even without mastery of the native language. The willingness to help is a trademark in every interaction experienced. On the other hand, a prominent challenge is the compact nature of Hong Kong, characterized by a densely crowded population. Human presence is striking, with the predominance of women being particularly notable. As a consequence, rental values rank among the highest in Asia, and indeed, in the world. Conversely, dining establishments offer very attractive prices, allowing for a balance in the expenses of those passing through. Shifting our focus to Curaçao, we discover a gem for both explorers and entities seeking tax advantages. This tropical retreat, located in the Caribbean under Dutch jurisdiction, is close to Venezuela, housing approximately 160,000 inhabitants, with a female representation of 90,000 individuals. The population size resembles that of a medium-sized neighborhood in the metropolis of New York. Curaçao seduces those in search of pristine beaches and revitalizing baths, also gaining fame as a haven valued by gaming and betting companies. Numerous online betting platforms, possibly already accessed by you, have their operations anchored in Curaçao. This preference arises from the local regulatory flexibility, which does not impose excessive rigor on aspects such as user safety, resource management, and tax obligations. Deul, an enclave in Africa, is a less explored territory located in northeastern Africa, bordering Ethiopia and Somalia. Despite being an economically marginalized region, it stands out due to its unique demographic composition, where 60% of the population is female. Rumors circulate that local women are actively seeking partners. However, the shortage of men has led many to remain unmarried. This disparity creates a scenario where male infidelity is common, resulting in offspring born outside formal unions. Crossing over to Eastern Europe in Ukraine, those who have passed through there report a prominent female presence, especially as night falls. With a low birth rate, this demographic configuration is likely to persist for an extended period. Parallel to what is happening in Lithuania, there is a trend of emigration of Ukrainians to other European countries, creating a range of possibilities for those seeking a fresh start in Ukrainian lands. Approximately 59% of Ukraine's inhabitants are women, resulting in a significant proportion of single women in the country. As a reflection, Ukraine ranks among the territories with the highest proportion of users of dating platforms globally. On the other end of the spectrum, Nauru, a tiny pearl nestled in the vast Pacific Ocean, is among the world's smallest states. Its compact territory is home to about 6,500 women in a nation that is often overshadowed by more popular destinations, lying on the fringes of conventional tourist routes. So, when disembarking in Nauru, be prepared to be the center of attention, almost like a prominent personality. On the other hand, a challenge that plagues local health authorities is the high number of individuals over the age of 94 facing heart-related adversities, while more than 30% of the Nauruan population is affected by diabetes. In Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, it seems that the quirks of history have outlined a peculiar scenario. Have you ever heard of a city with over 90% of its population being female? Well, that became a reality in Ljubljana. Imagine that, in a specific year, about 91% of the babies born were girls. This means that out of every 10 newborns, 9 were female. This situation sparked the curiosity of researchers, driving them to investigate the causes behind this peculiar phenomenon. And the discovery they made is even more intriguing. They speculate that the key to this puzzle may be linked to a brief period of armed conflict that struck the region. The acute psychological stress triggered by this war seems to have interfered with conception patterns, leading to a drastic reduction in male births. Currently, although the gender ratio has approached parity, the female presence is still notably prominent in the city. Turning our focus to the east, in Macau, China, unfolds a fascinating scene reminiscent of the glittering splendor of Las Vegas. Interestingly, the official language of Macau is Portuguese, a remnant of centuries of Portuguese rule. Macau positions itself as an autonomous city-state, almost a nation of its own, albeit under Chinese sovereignty. Its main focus is tourism, particularly due to the legality of gambling. The peculiar trait extends to the gender distribution in the region. About 60% of the inhabitants are women, relegating men to a minority of 40%. However, this discrepancy often goes unnoticed amid the influx of male tourists who flock to the area. Moving to the serenity of Anguilla, a Caribbean island, we encounter a unique scenario. In this lightly saturated refuge, men are a noticeable minority. With an average annual influx of only 70,000 visitors, the disparity between the high female contingent and the rarity of men is striking. It's a destination sought after primarily by more affluent travelers, not because it's prohibitively expensive, but as a retreat from the masses that gather at the most famous tourist spots. In summary, the world is a mosaic of cultures, histories, and unique demographic patterns. These differences enrich our experiences and shape our perspectives, allowing us to understand the complexity of the human tapestry. With each destination, there's a new story to be discovered and shared. If you wish to continue joining us on these incredible journeys and uncovering more about the hidden corners and peculiarities of our planet, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Join us and be a part of this adventure.